I've told a lot of crazy, silly, ridiculous guest stories here on my channel, but I'm far from the only one with them. I made a couple posts asking for your stories, and boy, did you respond. So I've had a great time telling some of my crazy guest stories, the funny stuff that's happened, the silly questions that you get asked over and over and over again. But I thought I'd do a little different take in that I'd ask for your stories because people are always sharing theirs as well. And so I made a couple posts and I got a lot of responses. I very quickly realized that I actually did not want to look at these right away, so you're going to see my genuine reactions as I read a lot of these for the first time. I've got stories that were shared on YouTube, on Facebook, in our Confessions of a Theme Park Worker fans group, and on my actual SirWillow page on Facebook as well. So we've got 3 different sources. We'll see. This may end up being 2 videos. So starting off with YouTube, from Kathy Goodman. She's got a little bit of a story here. She says, one time when we were watching the pre-show at Muppets 3D, I noticed this couple with their 3D glasses on going from TV to TV and going forwards and backwards and side to side at each TV. They were trying so hard. Okay, so this has to be in the pre-show when there's a bunch of monitors showing this thing and it's not 3D. They were trying so hard to see the 3D. They were not American and didn't speak English, so when someone tried to explain it to them, they were just shooed away. When they went into the theater, they were sitting in their seats with their guide map trying to see it in 3D too. These poor guests. I was laughing so hard that I couldn't even explain it to my husband and kids, who were very embarrassed. I still get a laughing fit when I think about it. It was the funniest thing to me. I recently told the story to my grandkids, and I laughed hysterically while telling them. Oh no. She says, I guess you had to see it. I can totally see it. I'm just holding the map up, and it's not working! Oh, I'd be curious to know what country they were from, but, yeah. Right idea, but not quite the right execution there. That ranks right up there with the guy who walked around Spaceship Earth several times and then came into our shop and went, where's the rest of the park? Just keep walking. Oh, my goodness. XJ May writes, one I'll never forget is at Cedar Point. Ah, yes, good old Cedar Point. Someone saying one time, Gatekeeper's train didn't make it through the keyhole near-miss element and hit the wall. Okay, so if you don't know, Gatekeeper is a winged coaster. Basically, the track's in the middle, and then the cars hang out on the end. And it has an element right at the entrance where it twists and it goes through these 2 pillars. So it twists halfway, goes through a pillar, twists around it again, it goes through the next pillar. It didn't make it through the keyhole near miss. Coasters can't just not follow the track route. It hit the... It's so funny to me that it's just straight up not how physics work at all. Or mechanics. It's like... I love the disaster stories that people come up with where, 50 people died on this roller coaster when it flew off the track. Yeah, no. Didn't even hold 50 people. It holds 6. Just goofy stuff. Okay, anyways, she continues. This one isn't a specific instance, but I laugh so hard every time I hear people say something like, yeah, last year this ride flew off the track and killed 29 people. Okay, talk about it the same wavelength. That's hilarious. I just said this. And told you I didn't read these ahead of time. And no, it didn't. That did not happen. The ride would not currently be open if that happened. Exactly. They're not going to run a ride that's at any risk of having an accident. The people that come up with this stuff, I'm like, what imaginary world were you in? Uh, this ride flew off the the irony that she writes exactly what I was thinking. Funny stuff. Brian's West Coast Adventure. Working at Disneyland in the Fantasyland costume, carrying a pan and broom. Excuse me, do you work here? No, we're wearing these hot, sweaty, ugly costumes for fun. And the name tag, it just to introduce myself. And of course, every guest walks around with a dustpan and broom. Understand why they're asking. I do, but it still cracks me up when people ask that. Excuse me, can you help me? Okay, yes. There's a good question. Do you work here? Yeah, we would get that all the time. Silver Dollar City. I'm sitting there in my conductor's outfit. Conductor hat, the heavy coat, on a cooler day. Do you work here? Nope, this is how I dress all the time. Alex Adams. While working on water rides, do you get wet on this ride? Or where do you get the least wet? The place you get the least wet is off the ride. Water ride. Water wet. Why do people want to go on a water ride and not get wet? I mean, there is a part of me that understands, yeah, you want to experience the ride, but it's a water ride. You're going to get wet. That's how it works. And especially depending upon the park, rapids rides, you're probably not just going to get wet, you're going to get soaked. That's the way it is. And go on a warmer day, you'll dry out quickly. The Ann Chan writes, is this ride shut down? Yes, ma'am, this ride's closed. The power went down in most of the park. No, ma'am, there's no lights on anywhere, but this ride is somehow still operating. And I'm just standing out here in the front with a closed gate behind me for the fun of it. Is there a way to ride this one and not the rest of the park? Okay, so power outage in the park. Can't I just ride this one and skip to everything else? No, I can't get the ride to operate right now. Most of the park is down, unfortunately. Well, I'm sure you have a generator or something to run your ride. Find a way to get my kid on. That's not how they work, and a little power generator is not going to have enough power to run a roller coaster. Nope, carnival ride maybe, but... I'm sorry, ma'am. I physically cannot get this ride to operate right now, even if I wanted it to. I'm sorry. If you have a complaint, go to the front desk at the entrance of the park. They will get you a free ticket to come back another day. I don't want another park pass. I want to ride this ride with my kid right now. We drove hours to get here. We put our whole vacation around meeting Snow White, and it's the last day of our trip, the last hour, and why is she leaving now? 'Cause stuff happens. I'm sorry, there isn't anything I can do to help you in this situation. The only ride that's operating right now is the boat, because it doesn't use electricity. The conversation continued on for a while longer before she stormed off angry. I wouldn't let her on the ride. Oh. What do you mean that you can't magically make power come on just to get this ride to go so I can ride it? Who cares about everybody else in the park who are also in the same boat? I love how guests think that employees have magical powers to make rides operate, that they're psychic enough to know everything that's going on and why a ride isn't working and exactly what time it will work and how the weather works and when it's going to clear up and why can't we just turn the weather off. And yeah, we're not magic, we're people. Cool Harry. The Smiler or any other ride is dangerous. Okay, so here, for those that are concerned about safety at parks, I actually talked to one of my coworkers about this. any remotely reasonable, reputable park is not going to operate a ride that could potentially harm you if they know about it. You've got a couple extreme examples of the opposite. Crazy stuff. But Six Flags parks, Disney, Cedar Fair, Universal, a lot of independent parks, if it's a remotely decent operation, they're not going to take the slightest chance. And that closure that you're mad about because they don't have the ride open, it's because they're not sure it's safe at the moment because of something going on. They have to make sure it is, because they're not going to put you at risk. The biggest cause of injuries at parks, it's like 98.5%, is guest or rider error. It's the guests doing something they shouldn't, like trying to stand up on a ride or trying to push the restraints out or wiggle out of them or doing something stupid like that. They're not going to run a ride if they know that there's a chance that it could be dangerous. Occasionally, rarely accidents happen, but when you look at the number of actual safety accidents, a mechanical failure at the parks compared to how many rides and hours and stuff like that go, it's far more dangerous to ride in the car or to walk to the parks than it is to actually be on a ride in them. True. Very true. HP Disney fan. That's an interesting mix. Magic Kingdom. Where's Harry Potter? I don't know if it is that HP. Anyways. Saw someone with a celebration pin celebrating their divorce. I actually saw that a few times while I was working. You'd see the newly married and celebrating birthdays and first-time visits and reunions and stuff like that. And every now and then you would see one celebrating their divorce. And usually they were really happy about it. It kind of hurt because I know that there are those marriages out there that, for various reasons, need to end. My parents' marriage was like that. I get this. My mother would have been one celebrating the divorce. I get it. It's sad, but funny, and in some weird way, not a bad thing. Don't like divorce, hate it, but there are times when it's necessary. Okay. And to celebrate the freedom and release that comes with it. Yep. By the way, hitting 30 years here in a week for my own marriage. We're celebrating staying together. So just want to throw that out there. We'll be in California on our anniversary. Yay! Nicholas Swinebrenner. That's a great name. I was not at a theme park, but someone asked me if I was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Wow, okay, I'm guessing you're kind of buff. How did you reply? No, I'm not. It's not a brain tumor. Okay, I can't do a decent Arnold impression. Sorry. Another time someone thought I was Kevin Weisman from Alias. I have been accused of looking like William Shatner. Or, Willow. And then sounding like, Wallace Shawn. Inconceivable. Okay. Goodness, there's some funny stuff here. DizFan writes, why do we have to use the monorail? Why do we have to stop so many places to get to our destination? Why is one monorail going the other way and not ours? Because there's more than one place to go to. Why does the bus stop at every place except where we want to? Why does it have all these other stops? Because there's more than one person on it. You're not the only one. Yeah, I got more goofy monorail questions when I was at different places, especially if you were up near the entrance to the park. You would get the monorail questions. Where do you get the monorail? Over at the station. Okay, but where does it go? On the monorail beam? To the resort hotels in the parking lot? What if I don't want to go to the resort hotels? I want to go to Disney Springs. It doesn't go there. Well, why not? Because they didn't build it there. Okay. So this is still DizFan. True story. My aunt hadn't been to Disney since the 1970s, and we were having to make a complete circle from Magic Kingdom to the Contemporary to go to our dining reservation. Yep. Then had to make another loop on the backwards monorail to get to Magic Kingdom to catch our shuttle to resort at the end of the night. So she was confused about the monorail stops along the way. She even asked why we had to get off the monorail to get on our shuttle. My cousin and I, who planned the trip, if my aunt had any other questions, our response to her would be like, why don't you ask Mickey? He's the main one in charge, or go look for Bob. We have done the deal where at Magic Kingdom, you have a meal reserved over Contemporary because it's right there. You can walk. The easiest way to do it is to actually go for Magic Kingdom and walk over to the Contemporary, eat your meal, and then take the monorail back over to Magic Kingdom. Because of the way the monorails loop, it'll actually run from Contemporary to Magic Kingdom, and then around to the Grand Floridian, and then the Polynesian, and then the parking lot, and then back to Contemporary again. So there's that loop. The other loop just goes from Magic Kingdom around to the Transit and Ticket Center, TTC. If you want to take a monorail from Magic Kingdom to Contemporary, you got to go Magic Kingdom, Grand Floridian, Polynesian, TTC, and then eventually Contemporary. It takes less time to walk, but it's so much easier to take the monorail back. But yes, people get very confused by that. And why is one stopping all the time and the other one isn't? And it even says on the big, huge signs at the TTC. But the R word. I'm not sure what the R word is. This is Parker Odell. The R word, my only trip to Kennywood. Here's the context. I was in my 8th grade field trip riding the racer, and I was with the special education... I was with the special education group. The employee said it not loudly for me to hear, but for the special ed teacher to hear. And boy, was she... She'd been at the school since the early 80s and saw all the progress idea and the ADA is seen. She yelled at the employee 5 ways to Sunday. I can imagine. Now, when I was a kid, the word that they're using to refer to special needs was commonly used. Nobody thought about it the way they do now. But I would never use it now. That's for sure. And when people say stuff like that, I'm like, okay, either you didn't think or you're just a jerk. That word among various others. And for an employee to do it, somebody didn't want to keep their job. Okay, I got 2 more here for YouTube. And I'm going to split the Facebook ones up into another video because there's just so many of them here. Lindy Rides Human. I was working Cannonball Lagoon and I was asked by a guest if they had to climb all the way to the top of the tower in order to ride. It'll take you there and then bring you back down to Earth. That'd be a long climb. Oh my goodness. Just watch the ride once. You'll figure it out. Anthony605. Years ago, while waiting in the long line for Haunted Mansion at Disneyland, I was treated to hearing one of the most annoying know-it-alls about everything Disney for a good hour while he loudly preached to his family that every time and seemed to want everyone to know within earshot his expertise. Oh my goodness. Okay, so a couple years back, I did a video about the most annoying types of guests, and the know-it-all was on there because they drive you nuts. My worst part with them is because I am a know-it-all. When I'm in line and I hear somebody else spouting wrong information, I want to turn around and go, hey, buddy, that's not right because it's actually this. Yeah, and then my family starts going, we don't know him. Please just hide. Know-it-alls drive me nuts. It's one thing if your group wants to know the stuff, but truthfully, all you're doing when you're bragging all that stats and information, you're not impressing them. You're embarrassing yourself and making yourself look like a dweeb. Not even a good nerd or geek, a dweeb. Just stop it. If you really got to do it, at least do it quietly and do it in response to a question. Not,
yeah, Space Mountain goes a maximum speed of 27 miles per hour. There's 2 tracks inside that duel, and they're actually mirror images almost of one, but they have...
Nobody cares. And if they do care, they're not going to be the ones standing in line next to you. And it annoys everybody. Don't do that. Don't do that. There's places you could do that, but those people that you would do that with probably know more than you do, so just don't. I love guests. I do. I have been accused of hating people because I laugh at stuff like this, but you gotta laugh, especially when you're one of the ones doing it. Yeah, we do. I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, I've got a bunch more that have been posted on Facebook. I'm going to share those in another video because I'm sure that there's some great ones there. But let me know what you think. Do you got a good story to go along with this? Post it in the comments below, and maybe I'll add it on and do another video later. Do you think that I'm a goober or whatever? Comment below. Tell me. I want to hear it. I'll be happy to add you into a mean tweets video later, too. But I'd love to hear your feedback. Thank you so much to my supporters for helping make videos like this possible and so much more. Be sure to check the description. Tons of info. Hit that subscribe button and share and like. Thank you so incredibly much for watching. God bless. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know your thoughts, your comments, your suggestions, your ideas. Be sure to share them in the comments below, or you can contact me. There's information in the description that has my email address, fan pages, information about merchandise, and so much more. So be sure to check that out. Don't forget to hit that like button, share the video, and if you haven't already, hit the button right up there to subscribe. And in fact, if you did enjoy this, I've even got another video for you right here. And also about these wonderful people here, those are my YouTube members and my patrons, the ones whose financial support makes this possible. I couldn't do it without them. If you want to know more about that and the perks that come with it, well, be sure to check the description. There's a link right down there. Thank you so incredibly much. God bless.